Websites like strangebanana.com show us that the look and layout of a page can be changed easily using cascading style sheets, or CSS. In each of the 6 screens shown here, exactly the same web content is shown, even though the colour schemes are very different and the layout includes sidebars either on the left or on the right, and breadcrumbs that can be left, centered, or right aligned, as we see here. The fonts, the sizes, the colors, and the borders are all controlled using CSS. We are going to format parts of our page using cascading style sheets by applying new styles in our web page. So far, we have some placeholder information in the header, in the sidebar, the aside, in the article and the footer, and we have replaced our navbar with a table that has individual categories and a home link. We will begin by formatting the header. I've clicked in the header, although it's not essential for you to do this. We go down to the Apply Styles section and we click on New Style. This loads up a dialog that lets us change many aspects of how parts of the page look, including the font, the border, the position, and various other parts of the appearance. By default, the CSS selector is looking for a class called NewStyle1. We are aiming to change the header, so replace .NewStyle1 with header. Notice as we type, we can choose from the drop-down list, and make sure you choose header rather than head, as this is what we called the section at the top of our page. You can then choose a font family to be used. It's better to use a series of fonts rather than a specific font, because your user may not have these on their computer, especially if viewing on a mobile phone. So I'll choose Impact. As it's the top title in my page, I want to have perhaps an extra large size. And my website, which is all about pets, is going to have a brown colour theme to reflect fur. None of these colours is particularly what I'm looking for, so I'm going to click More Colours and choose something more fur-like, perhaps here. Notice these have a hex code which represents how much red, green and blue makes up each colour. There are various other aspects that we can choose here, but some, such as blink, are not encouraged on web pages. If I apply and then say OK, you'll see that the heading of my page has changed, but there are many other aspects that I could add to make a better header effect. So I can drop down here to header, which is now defined, and I can choose Modify Style to make more changes. I'm going to go to Border, and I'm going to add the same border for all instead of just the top, right, bottom or left. That border is going to be a double line. The border width I can make thick, and the border colour, I perhaps want to make a slightly different colour from the font, and so I will choose a pale brown. I can look at the background and choose a background colour. I'd like to choose something that contrasts with my font quite nicely. So I'm going to choose a pale green so that the brown text stands out nicely. It is possible to use background images, but we will go into this in more detail in a later tutorial. I'm going to apply that, say OK, and my header is starting to look a bit better as the top of the page. When I'm happy with how my header looks, I should go to File and Save All to update the saved version of the template. Notice in our code that a new section has been added to the head of the page. So inside the head tag we now have style, and that's of type text CSS. Here's my closing style tag, and in between is a description of all of the choices we made about how our header should look. The word header tells me which section of the page to apply it to, and then all of the instructions for colour, border, and fonts are appearing here.